Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and having a flare-free day. It is Thursday today and we are in the city of Ottawa because I have a follow-up appointment with my OBGYN today. It's 6 weeks following the birth of my beautiful baby girl, and typically they want to do a 6-week checkup just to see how you're doing physically, mentally, emotionally. So really excited to touch base with her today and see how she's been doing since the labor. She said, please bring baby girl. So we have precious cargo in the back with me today. If you are in the Ottawa region while you're watching this video, please be careful on the roads because it is crazy ice out there. It's really foggy today. I feel like the weather is going to stay consistently bad. So please just be mindful and careful while you're on the roads. Ice was all covered over my car today, and I was using my arm strength to kind of get it off before coming to the city today. We drove pretty slowly because, again, that precious cargo in the back, and I wanted to take my time just to drive slowly, listen to some nice music, just be calm on the roads while it's just kind of bad weather. I did stop to get coffee. I got a grande non-fat vanilla latte as a little pick-me-up this morning, as well as a almond croissant. And I don't know if you do this trick, but if you have any like baked goods or things that need to be kept warm while you're in the car driving, pop on the seat warmer and it'll keep your stuff warm. So hot tip of the day, and that's what I'm doing with my almond croissant, just keeping it a little toasty with the seat warmer. Knock on wood, since having baby girl, my endo flares have not returned. However, on that note, a flare-up hasn't returned, but my cramping has come back. I did experience cramping during my pregnancy, and you'll notice those in my previous videos where I talk a little bit about that, but my cramping has kind of increased the last 2 weeks. My cramping is more painful and ramping up. It's not to the point of a flare-up, but it is something that I'm taking note of and just like recognizing that it's something that I need to keep an eye on, because I really hope my endo flares don't return in full force. Fingers crossed, please. Cross your fingers and toes and eyes for me, please, because I just am not ready for the flares to come back, especially with her in the mix now. Like, I worry that a flare will take me away from the time I have with her, especially if I have to like be curled up on a ball or can't breastfeed or just can't be with her to hold her. That's kind of a fear that I have right now with my flares returning. So just a side note that I'll probably bring up to my OBGYN today, just kind of talk a little bit about it and see if she has any recommendations on that cramping. But yeah, that's kind of the day. I'll bring you along with me and we can touch base after of what went on and the next steps in my recovery journey with pregnancy and labor, as well as my next steps with endo. We made it safe and sound back home. Baby girl is soundly sleeping and she was a dream during the visit. We had one diaper change and we had one feeding, and my OB was so excited to see her. She was like, she's so cute and so like precious. And I was like, I know, like I'm biased, but yes, she's an angel. So it was really nice catching up with my OB, and I just said like, how are things going with you? And she said it's been pretty busy in the hospital, but overall things are good. The visit was really quick, short and sweet. It was probably less than 10 minutes, which is really great for her schedule to try and keep up with her naps and her feeding. So the first thing she did was check my physical well-being. They took my blood pressure and it was high. So basically in my third trimester, I was erring on the side of higher blood pressure, and that can be common. She was just noticing that I had to redo the blood pressure test twice today just to see if it would go down. So she said just to monitor it, and if it continues to kind of get support from my family doctor, because she's no longer going to be seeing me, which is kind of sad, but just something to note for my continuing journey that I need to monitor that. She also mentioned if I'm fortunate, to have another child, that my blood pressure will have to be monitored pretty closely in the second pregnancy, which can lead to something called preeclampsia. So something to keep a note for myself down the road, and just to keep monitoring for my personal physical well-being. Then she checked my stitch. So I've been open about this in my recent videos on pregnancy, but I was very fortunate during my natural birth to have one tear on the outside. So she checked that and she said it's healing very beautifully. You can't even tell that you had a tear. So she was really happy about that, and I was really happy about that. She then asked about my mental and emotional well-being, and like I've been open on my other videos, I was very open with her saying I was a bit low the first couple of weeks following the birth of baby girl, and she said that's completely normal. Your hormones are kind of on a roller coaster ride, and they just have to even out following a couple of weeks. So she said, how are you doing now? Basically, I was open just saying, you know, I am experiencing a little bit of anxiety from time to time, but that's something that I've always kind of dealt with in my life journey, not just pregnancy journey, and overall feeling a lot more like myself, like less low, less unaware of why I'm feeling certain ways. Like I'm able to pinpoint emotions and how I'm feeling them and why I'm feeling them, which is a nice feeling in itself, but overall feeling really good. I did bring up the abdominal cramping, and she had outlined that it definitely could be endometriosis related. However, it could also be the fact that, you know, during pregnancy, my uterus expanded and kind of shifted things around a bit. So she said it could be related to your uterus going back down to size, and with that kind of like organs and things going back to where they're supposed to be because they were kind of like moved all over the place. So she said it's been 6 weeks. Things are still like healing and going back to where they are supposed to normally be in the body. So she said just keep monitoring, and if it continues the cramping or it gets worse, then definitely talk to my family doctor. So for me, I'm definitely going to talk to my family doctor in my next checkup about it, and I really want to see if there's an endo specialist in Ottawa that I can connect with, because I moved from Toronto. I'm not quite up with seeing anyone who's an endo specialist in this region. So if it continues, I'll definitely have to reach out to somebody here. But it's again something that I'm monitoring in my journey. Now, in the past, when it came to my abdominal cramping, I did go on birth control to help regulate my periods. I want to be clear that birth control does not cure endometriosis, but it can help regulate periods for me, help me prepare a little bit more for an endo flare to happen. Now, flare-ups happened outside of my period as well, but I opted for a birth control to help manage those expectations and flare-ups that were related to my period. As we know, endo lesions create their own estrogen, and estrogen irritates endometriosis lesions. And without removing that endo lesion itself, that estrogen and irritation will always be there. So excision surgery by an endo specialist is the gold standard of treatment for endo. But when it comes to birth control, it can help individuals with certain symptoms that come forward, or just helps them feel like they have a regulated period to help prepare mentally for when a flare-up happens, and that's me. And if you have different experiences on birth control, that's okay. Like, it's your own journey to walk. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. So for myself, I opted to go back on birth control for several different reasons, but one of them was to help with my abdominal cramping and see if it helps subside post-pregnancy. Now, with that though, I was prescribed a birth control today from my OB, and I just said, oh, thanks so much. And I took it and drove home, and I realized that the birth control option she provided is progesterone dominant. Which I guess like a lot of them are, but when I hear that progesterone dominant statement, I have a bit of medical like trauma from that statement, because Vizan, which was a progesterone dominant pill that I was prescribed to help with my endometriosis symptoms, really impacted my mental health, and I've been open about that. Vizan is often a medication that helps a lot of individuals with their journey, and they feel a lot better. They feel great on that pill. For me, it just didn't work, and I've been open about that too on my channel if you want to watch it. But I just get a little nervous in my head when I see progesterone dominant, because I go back to that experience on Vizan, and it wasn't great. It wasn't a great time. So understanding the risks that come with birth control is also important, and reading the leaflet and understanding, you know, blood clots and all those kind of related concerns and symptoms that are associated with it. I might reach out to my family doctor in my next appointment coming up, just to see if there's another option better suited for me that you know, that I've taken in the past and I'm familiar with. So just something from my own journey that I need to keep aware of as well, and to advocate for myself, because I know my body best, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to kind of like protect my physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Just a reminder that your journey can look different than mine. I take birth control to help regulate my periods. I know it's not a treatment option for endometriosis. It just helps me mentally prepare for a flare-up that's related to my menstrual cycle. But your journey can look completely different, and your reasonings for those can be completely different. Whatever works for you and your body is a-okay with me, as long as it's in discussion with a medical practitioner. I'm happy to let you know how it goes on the birth control journey and how my symptoms go, if I have any that relate to endometriosis post-labor. But yeah, I'm really excited to keep going with my journey and to do what's best for me and my body. But yeah, with that, I cannot wait to talk to you on the next one.